Look at a landscape of forested mountains. We see these massive trees as unified objects anchored to the earth for centuries. Picture a sprinter exploding off the starting blocks. Despite the extreme difference in scale and mobility, that athlete and those towering trees share the exact same underlying architecture. They are both built from microscopic single cells. But a giant pile of cells cannot maintain life on its own. Instead, individual cells undergo differentiation, grouping together into specialized teams known as tissues to divide the massive workload required for survival. This specific organization dictates the ultimate strategy of the organism. It is what allows one cluster of cells to sprint across a field, while another remains firmly anchored for centuries. Let's freeze that sprinter in mid-stride and look under the hood at the invisible machinery making this movement possible. This abstract wireframe shows nervous tissue acting as the body's control center. In a fraction of a second, electrical signals fire from the brain, traveling down a branching network of neurons straight to the limbs. Those signals hit the muscular tissue. Skeletal muscles in the legs contract on command to drive the sprint, while cardiac muscles in the heart beat rhythmically and involuntarily, pumping oxygen-rich blood throughout the body. Contracting muscles require a mechanical bridge to move the body. Connective tissue provides this link. Tendons strap the pulling muscle to the bone, while ligaments stabilize the joints, translating raw biological tension into physical movement. Surrounding all of this is epithelial tissue. It forms the skin and the lining of our internal organs, acting as a protective outer boundary that shields this internal machinery from physical friction and microbial invaders. A single stride on a track is a synchronized chain reaction, requiring flawless coordination across 4 completely distinct tissue systems. Plants rely on a different strategy. Because a tree cannot run from danger or hunt for food, its internal architecture is designed for continuous growth and structural permanence. To survive constant damage, like being grazed by animals or battered by wind, plants rely on meristematic tissue. These actively dividing cells act like localized 3D printers, grouped into 3 specific zones. Apical meristems at the tips push the stem higher and the roots deeper. Lateral meristems expand the trunk outward to increase girth. And intercalary meristems, located at the nodes, allow the plant to rapidly sprout new branches or regrow grass blades after they've been cut. As these new cells age, they transition into permanent tissues. Some develop thick, lignin-coated walls and die off, forming a rigid tissue called sclerenchyma. This creates the hard, woody structure necessary to support massive vertical weight. Hidden inside that armor is the plant's plumbing. Xylem tissue acts as a set of one-way pipes, pulling water up from the roots, while phloem tissue functions as a bidirectional highway, transporting sugary food from the leaves to the rest of the plant. A plant's survival is the result of this highly engineered structure, one that prioritizes continuous regeneration and rigid fortified plumbing. Think about the instructions required for that growth. A newly divided cell must somehow decide whether to become a hard piece of wood, a flexible water pipe, or a green leaf. In 1958, scientist F.C. Stewart explored this by isolating a single highly specialized phloem cell from a mature, fully grown carrot. He discovered the principle of totipotency. When placed in the right nutrient broth, that single specialized cell reversed its programming, began to divide, and eventually grew into a completely new, full-sized carrot. This proves that even after a cell is assigned a specific job, it retains the complete original genetic blueprint required to rebuild the entire organism from scratch. Biological organisms are not static objects. They are active, continuously repairing construction sites. If a specialized carrot cell can reset its programming, it suggests that the instructions for the whole organism are never truly lost. In humans, we see this same principle in bone marrow stem cells. Like the carrot's phloem, these cells can divide and differentiate into entirely new blood tissues, providing a vital tool for treating cancers like leukemia or disorders like thalassemia. Look at this group practicing yoga. Macroscopic health relies entirely on training this tissue coordination. The body demands a synchronized effort, muscular flexibility, gas exchange in the respiratory epithelium, and a regulated nervous system, all working in unison.
Whether we are using tissue culture to develop disease-resistant crops, or observing how a doctor utilizes the body's natural capacity to knit a fractured bone back together, we are seeing the same cellular division of labor in action. Every physical action we take, and every moment of growth we witness in nature, is the result of millions of microscopic specialists flawlessly executing their precise evolutionary jobs.